We finished the last episode not only on top of the Premier League, but the only side in the Champions League to hold 100% a record. We've played one game since you were last with us. Do we still have a lead at the top of the Premier League? And can we progress towards our first silverware for this season in the Carabao Cup today? Let's go and find out. Hello, and it's a very warm welcome to episode 60 of Irons in the Fire as we try and make West Ham good and great again. My name's Mark, and on today's episode we have for you two games. First up, Leicester City in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. We beat them in the Premier League not that long ago, 3-0. And a repeat performance today would be rather splendid. And then we have a Premier League match day 17 against Southampton. But there has been a little bit going on since you were last with us. Don't forget, if you do enjoy today's episode, leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the series, what you'd like to see me do next, because we theoretically will be ending this series at the end of this season, unless you tell me you want me to carry on. If so, leave me that message down in the comments, and I will, if I get enough people say, I want to carry on, Mark, we will do our best to carry on. Right, what I didn't do at the end of the last episode is I didn't bring you up to date. We had an injury in the game, the last game that you saw, to Tammy Abraham. We had to take him off with a thigh injury. It was a bit of a long-term one, actually. Unfortunately, Tammy Abraham joins Emerson on the table, as it were. Emerson's still 2 months, 4 weeks to 2 months away from coming back from his torn cuff muscle. But we have Tammy Abraham. He's been out, or will be out, all told, for about 5 weeks. He's currently out for 12 days to 4 weeks. He picked up that thigh strain. And he's been out, missed the last game that we played. Talking about the last game that we played, while you were away, we have played Bournemouth. We've beaten them 3-1 to continue our sort of run at the top of the table, and hopefully stay there. As you'll see, we had 20 shots, 12 on target, 3.30 on the old XG, and 64% of the possession. Bournemouth had 4 shots, 2 on target, 1.08 and 36% of the possession. But it wasn't all plain sailing. It took us, it was 0-0 at half-time, and it took us until the 55th minute when a penalty from Leicester City gave us the lead. And we pick it up ahead of the penalty being given. Just to show you what happened, Kehrer to Kerr, and Gomez running into the area is tripped by Spence. And as I've said, none of those so far have gone to be not allowed. If it goes to VAR, it's going to be a penalty. And this one was no exception. So the penalty then, Samanic putting it away very neatly, gives us the lead after 55 minutes. But it was a short held lead, because Dominic Solanke did this after 57. Adams out on the wide. We haven't really seen them make an attack up until this point. Kirkets, Alvaro into Solanke on a plate. And, 1-1 then after 57. And it took us a further 12 minutes before we got our noses in front on 69 from Thomas Souček. Bowen with a corner. Souček heads it in at the near post. It's 2-1 at this point in time. But then it looked like they were going to equalise because of a penalty from Dominic Solanke. The penalty coming from a free kick. Philip with the free kick. And it swung in. Vitic heads it out. Philip Aarons comes into the area. It's into the area. There's a lot going on. Philip is put to ground, and I'm not quite sure who brought him down, but again, VAR involved, and as I said, not seen any of these ruled out as yet. But Solanke didn't put away a penalty as we expected him to. Mazulia, the hero of the moment, as Solanke putting it straight down the middle. Mazulia managing to get a hand to it, and it went out for a corner. We're not going to see the corner, but it did go out for a corner. And then it was on 90 minutes that James Ward-Prowse made it safe with a goal, an opportunist's goal. Paqueta, who had come on, going on a run, crosses this ball in. Goalkeeper makes a save. It falls nicely to Ward-Prowse, and Ward-Prowse putting it away. So 3-1 win then. Mazulia with the player of the match for his save as much as anything else, and it was a great save. But as I said, it was a good win. So the Premier League looks like this as we go into today's episode. We are top by virtue of the fact that Aston Villa beat Manchester United 3-0. So we are top by 5 points as we go into today's episode. A chasmic gap there at the moment. As long as we don't slip up, we're okay. Aston Villa closing the gap. Let's go back to the table. If we go back this way, there we go. So top on 39, Manchester United second on 34. Aston Villa now move back up into third. They're having a great season on 34 points. Arsenal are in fourth on 33. Chelsea are fifth on 32. Manchester City moving up into those European places now on 29, along with Newcastle also on 29. Tottenham just outside the European places on 27. Everton and Liverpool 10th and 11th on 22 points respectively. And Nottingham Forest, Norwich and Bournemouth still in that drop zone. Luton Town are in 17th on 11 points. And our second opponents of today's episode are there in 16th place on 12 points. So that is how it stands. The other key games there, Liverpool beating Luton Town, Manchester City beating Tottenham, Everton beating Norwich in that round of games, which takes us to today's games. And of course, it's against Leicester is our first game in the Carabao Cup. We have played them 4 times this series so far. We've not conceded a goal yet. Oh dear, I shouldn't have said that. Oh dearie me. We've not conceded a goal. We've beaten them at the London Stadium 3 times in a row, all 3-0. The one time we played them at the King Power Stadium, we drew 0-0. We'd like another result very much the same as the previous 3 at the London Stadium, if at all possible. Let's go and have a look at the team that will face Leicester City. And here is the team that faces Leicester in this Carabao Cup quarter-final. And we have this team to try and get us through to progress towards our first lot of silverware this year. Trubin is our domestic cup goalkeeper, and he's in place of Mazulia. Let's hope he doesn't let us down today. Parisi, Friedel, Upamecano and Gomez make up the back line. Shalaga, Kahera and Vitic in midfield. And sitting behind the front 2, Ward-Prowse with Bowen and Watkins up front. On the bench then, Mazulia, Todibo, Soufal, Wagnerman, Zuma, Soucek, Samadic, Brent Kerr and Raul de Thomas, suffering of course currently from those injuries. That's the team that will face Leicester. And here we are back at the London Stadium for this one. Carabao Cup quarter-final day. A chance to move into the semi-finals. They're playing a 4-3-3 today with a defensive midfielder. Just barely 2 minutes. Dewsbury Hall with a free kick. It's gone over the top though. And 7 minutes on the clock. We have a free kick this time. Ward-Prowse with the free kick. And Muric have to put it away. It's gone for a corner. And that was on its way in. Bowen with the corner. It's a deep one to the back post. Didn't find its intended target. Watkins runs it back in. But really didn't have a great deal of control of that ball and loses it. And no more highlights in that first half. Half time comes. We have been the better side. They've had a lot of the possession. We need to try and wrestle some of that back. But so we've had 5 shots, of which 4 have been on target. 0.25. Just not clinical in putting them away. 31% of the possession. They've had 2 shots, just the one on target, and 69% of the possession. We need to wrestle, as I say, wrestle back that possession. See if we can get a better foothold in the second half. They made one change at half-time. Cannon on for Jota. 64 on the clock. Upper Meccano. Ward-Prowse. Friedel. Cahera. Cahera over the top. Bowen! Oh, he's hit the woodwork. And that is the story of our day, I think. He was offside anyway. And a chance goes begging. And with 65 on the clock, making 3 changes. Gomez comes off. He's got a yellow card. He's tiring as well. With Joshua Wagnerman comes on for him. And then we've taken off our front 2. Gerard Bowen has come off and replaced him with Brett Kerr. And then we have taken off Ollie Watkins and replaced him with Raul de Thomas. Well, with 76 minutes on the clock, no more highlights between this change and the last one. We're making our final 2 changes. Martin Vitic has come off. He's tiring. We brought on Thomas Souček. And the other change that we have made is James Ward-Prowse again, also tiring. We've replaced him with Samadic. Can we go and find that winning goal? If it's 0-0 at full time, it's penalties. Dewsbury Hall with a free kick. It's swung in. It's not cleared. And no penalty given. Cahera comes away with the ball. Is this going to be the break away that we want? Kerr cuts it into Samadic. Samadic. He's put it away. 8th goal of the season. And in the 3rd minute of 4 added on at the end of the game, we've ridden this game out. And we've had a few chances. We've had plenty of chances, just not put them away. Kerr, lovely ball into Samadic. And Samadic does eventually put it away in the side netting. And it's 1-0. Goodness me. Breathe is the answer to that one, I think. Goodness me. Hold your breath and you're likely to have suffocated. Lazia Samadic, the unlikely substitute, scoring on 93 minutes to save us from going to penalties. Leicester will be annoyed. They came with a job to do and they very, very nearly did it. We have got plenty of greens, so we did play quite well. Even Trubin played quite well today. 10 shots, 6 were on target, but Muric stopping us from getting there, I think. Though he hasn't got a green, I would have thought he'd have had a green. 1.09 on the XG. Only 29% of the possession. We need to eradicate some of the possession that we don't seem to be doing well with possession of late. So there you go. Leicester had 2 shots, one of which was on target, 0.05 and 71%. So though they had lots of possession, we did stop them from getting through. Well, we've had a good day at the office, which means we have a semi-final draw coming up very, very soon. Well, ahead of the draw for the semi-finals, which will be coming up shortly, round up on what's happened in the other games. We managed to squeeze past Leicester right at the death, but Manchester City doing a slightly better job on Queen's Park Rangers. They were 2-0 up. Malen and Gonzalez are the scorers there, and Taylor Richards getting a goal back for Queen's Park Rangers, but it wasn't enough. Manchester City winning that by 2-1. In the other 2 quarterfinals, Liverpool have got past Norwich. Nunes and McAllister, the scorers in that one, a 2-0 win against Norwich. And Tottenham doing a 3-0 win over Milton Keynes Dons. Dembele, Porro and Romero, the scorers in their game, which means that it's Manchester City, West Ham, Liverpool and Tottenham in the semi-final draw. As I say, that will be coming up in due course. So we'll have a look at that. There have been games in the Premier League. We'll have a quick roundup on those. They're the current ones. We'll get final scores on those very, very shortly. Bournemouth have beaten Aston Villa by 2-0, which strengthens our lead at the top. 5 points it was, and a game in hand now. But it all depends on this Manchester United game. And as it stands at the moment, Manchester United are leading Everton by 1-0. So if that's the case, they will be a point behind us, albeit we will still have a game in hand. So we need to make sure we do win that game in hand. Luton Town beating Crystal Palace by 3-0. So as it stands for them, they should pull themselves out of the relegation zone. Bournemouth will drop back in. So that is how it stands at the moment. I'll come back in just a couple of seconds and give you a complete update on the final scores. And it's confirmation that both those score lines that were the latest are the final scores. Fernandes after 5 minutes for Manchester United, giving them the 1-0 win. They are 2 points. Did I say? I'm not quite sure why I said 1 point, but they are 2 points behind us on 37 points. But, of course, we do have that game in hand over them now. So assuming we can win that game in hand, it would mean that gap is back up to 5 points. Luton Town beating Crystal Palace and have hauled themselves up to 14th on 14 points. 2 points clear of Bournemouth and Southampton in that on the trapdoor, as it were. Nottingham Forest and Norwich below them on 10 points. So a real battle going on at the bottom of the table there. The other news that we have for you is Sunderland have not let their manager go, but he's left and he has gone to Brentford. So Tony Mowbray left Sunderland, gone to Brentford in this sphere. Right, without any more to do, we will be back in just a moment or three for the draw for the Carabao Cup semi-final. Games to be played, first leg on the 6th of January, the second leg to be played on the 20th of January. We'll find out who we're going to play, bearing in mind that both Liverpool and Manchester City are sandwiched between those two games, and there's a very good chance that we may get to play them as well. So here we are on draw day. Let's have the draw for the Carabao Cup semi-final. And you join me for this draw. Liverpool, Manchester City, Tottenham and West Ham in the draw. It's 2 legs, don't forget. So both home and away. First teams out will be at home in the first leg, I presume. And we are first out. So we're at home at first. And we will play Manchester City. So 3 matches against Manchester City in very quick succession. Let's hope their season continues. It means Liverpool will be playing Tottenham. And Liverpool have their leg first at home, and then they'll be away to Tottenham. So it's West Ham versus Manchester City, Liverpool versus Tottenham. Let's have a look at see how that fits in the schedule. And this is how it fits in. So our run of games will be coming back for Sunderland and Arsenal in the next episode. And then we have an FA Cup third round and a Carabao Cup semi-final first leg in the next episode. And then do we want to be playing back-to-back games against Manchester City? Not really. Liverpool and Manchester City. It's all going to be back-to-back episodes. Oldham and Manchester City. Liverpool and Manchester City. And then it will be Manchester City. You get fed up with Manchester City. Manchester City and Sparta Prague, because Manchester City is quite an important game in the Premier League, of course. And then Sparta Prague in the Champions League phase. Match day 7 of 8. And can we continue our 100% record in that competition? to date. And then, of course, we will finish up with Celtic and Aston Villa, taking us to the end of January. And, of course, the end of the transfer window as well. What's going to go on with that? And then we'll obviously move into February. But back-to-back episodes coming in this final season here at West Ham. But we've got another game to worry about today. It is a game against Southampton in the Premier League. They are currently 17th in the Premier League. They're on a six-game losing run. So they're not in a good fettle at all, really. They've got 3 players away on international duty. Adam Armstrong is out with lower back stress fracture, and Amayo is out with a twisted ankle. We have Mohamed Kudus, who's away on international duty, with Ghana. Emerson out with a torn calf muscle. Abraham out with a thigh strain. We have not played them so far in this series. This is the first time that we've played Southampton in this series. So it's a bit of an unknown quantity as far as that's concerned. But at least we're at home. And so you join me for our second game of the episode against Southampton. And a bit of news for you ahead of that is I have signed a new contract. I was on £75,000 a week. I'm now on £120,000 a week. And that is the signed for 5-year contract. So I'm here until 2030 as it stands in game. You're not going to stay with me for that long, I don't think. Mazulia in goal then. It's Wagnerman, Upamecano, Todibo and Soufal, our defensive line. Gray, Zuma and Souček in midfield. Samadic sits behind Brent Kerr and Ollie Watkins up front. On the bench we have Trubin, Gomez, Parisi, Kahera, Vitic, Shalaga, Paqueta, Ward-Prowse and Gerard Bowen. And here we are at the London Stadium. We've won our last 5 straight. While Southampton are on a torrid run of form. They're playing a 4-3-3 today. Lost 3, drawn 2 of their last 5. We are in second. More about that at the end of the episode. Southampton down in 17th on 12 points. Upamecano with the ball. 2 minutes in. Souček through to Samadic. Samadic comes forward. Samadic, the saviour against, and it's gone behind for a corner. The saviour against Leicester City, nearly getting that one away again. He's got a corner this time. It's swung in. Zuma! And Kurt Zuma, his 3rd goal of the season. He was complaining about not getting game time. He's got game time today, and he scored. 1-0 after 4 minutes. Samadic. Zuma gets up. Flicks it into the back of the net. Corner on this near side. Samadic with an outswinger this time. Swung out. He's gone in again. And it's that man, Kurt Zuma. He's determined to make a thing of him, isn't he, really? That's his 2nd goal. Our 2nd goal on 14 minutes. Almost the same as his first one. Samadic from the other side. And it's headed away this time. Kerr is out there. Cuts it back for Upamecano. Todibo. Soufal. Soufal comes forward. Soufal crosses it deep. Looking for Kerr. Oh, and didn't put it away. It's gone for a corner, I think. Samadic will have an outswinger this time. Where's Kurt Zuma? He's lurking. It's headed clear. It's ping-ponging around. Watkins back to Samadic. Samadic will have a go on his own. It's got a deflection. It's gone for another corner on the far side. A intense period of pressure. Samadic swings it deep this time. It's headed over the top though. And we'll see that original play with Soufal. Crosses it in. Brent Kerr heads it straight at the goalkeeper and actually has a second attempt, which is blocked by the goalkeeper and goes out for a corner. 38 minutes on the clock. A free kick from Southampton, but it's gone over the top. In fact, I think it was offside. And half-time has arrived. It's a 2-0 lead at half-time. We've had 8 shots, 3 on target, 1.46. Only 39% of the possession. They've not had a shot. They've not had a shot on target. No XG, obviously, but they have held most of the possession. Seems to be a little bit of a thing going on here that we're not getting the possession that we should be. Not quite sure why or what we've done. I'm not quite fathoming it out, because we were. And all of a sudden, that seems to have gone a bit wayward. But anyway, half-time, we have a 2-0 lead, and that should put us back on top of the table. It does, in fact, and still we're 2 points clear of Manchester United, and we have a game in hand. And with 63 minutes on the clock, we're making 2 changes. One, because it seems to be a bit of an injury to Southampton, though it's not showing up as an injury. He's injured, but feels he can shake it off. So hopefully it's just a small knock. But to preserve our wing backs, we've taken Southampton off. Brought on Joe Gomez on that right-hand side. Did want to try and rest him for the game if we could. So we've taken him off, and the other change we've made in midfield. Archie Gray has come off. He's frustrated and picked up a yellow card. So Lucas Paqueta comes on for him. And with 80 minutes on the clock, making our final 3 changes. Thomas Souček is off. Shalaga is on. We've also taken off Lazar Samadic and brought on James Ward-Prowse. And our final change is up front. It's Ollie Watkins off, and Gerard Bowen comes on. And they come forward, but cut out by Todibo. 90 minutes on the clock. We're in the first minute of 5 added on. Vagaman out on that left-hand side into the area. Bowen back to Paqueta, but it's gone over the top. I'll see it better from behind. Wagnerman did get that through. Bowen winning it. Paqueta and Ward-Prowse just flicking it with his head, but over the top. There are no more highlights. It's all over. And we have got a 2-0 winner over Southampton. Wasn't over fantastic. We probably should have had more, really. But we have done. And Southampton had no shots, nothing on target. And we did actually gain a lot of that possession back in that second half. I think as they got tired, possibly, as well. So they've had nothing. 53% of the possession. We had 10 shots, only 3 of which were on target, putting 2 of them away. 1.87 and 47% of the possession. It's been a good day at the office. A lot of players there with over 7. Kurt Zuma, a player of the match, with 2 goals to his name. He's asked to come back in the side, get a start. He's had a start. In fact, he's played a full 90 minutes. And he's got himself a player of the match. That's the way to do it. And as we'd hoped, that injury to Southampton, just a tight thigh. He's going to be out for a couple of days. So whether we rest him for the game against Brentford, we will have to wait and see. But it's not a long-term injury, which is good news. Quick roundup on what's been going on and what I hadn't told you. What was going on before. Manchester United had played on Wednesday. They'd beat Everton by 1-0. I'm not sure if we did cover that, didn't we? But of course, they played the early game today, which put them on top. But they had, when we started today's game, they had played 2 games more than us, despite them being just in front of us in the table. But having won today, we have got ourselves back on top, 2 points clear of them, and a game in hand, which means if we win that game in hand, we will remain those 5 points clear of them. Aston Villa are down in 3rd. They have played a game more than us and are on 34 points, which means we will have 11-point lead over Aston Villa in 3rd place if we win our game in hand. And with that in mind, obviously that means that as I said, it's becoming a two-horse race as it stands at the moment. Albeit Arsenal have got to play Nottingham Forest and Manchester City have got to play Everton yet in this round of games. So it isn't all sorted itself out, really. Aston Villa losing again 5-3 to Newcastle, and Liverpool drawing 1-1 with Leicester. So they stay in 9th place. They are in a torrid time, really, aren't they? Tottenham beating Brentford, and Tony Mowbray's first outing with Brentford, 1-0. We play them next. I'm just going to pause for a second and come back with the results from Everton, Manchester City, Nottingham Forest and Arsenal, so that we can give you a full, concise end of episode update. Did I say it was a two-horse race? How dare I? Because Arsenal are in 3rd, having played the same amount of games as us. They're 6 points behind us, but I wouldn't rule them out right now. They are only 6 points behind us, and that does mean that it is a three-horse race, really, as it stands at the moment. Manchester City winning again, a 2-1 win against Everton. They move up into 5th, and they are coming like a truck from behind. Having had a torrid start to the season, they're now finding their form. They're 10 points adrift of us. Chelsea are in 6th on 32, and to be fair, they have a game in hand over us, so that could be down to 35. That could be a little bit closer than what it is. So as it finishes the end of the episode, we are top on 42. A game in hand over Manchester United in 2nd on 40 points. Arsenal are 3rd on 36. Then come Aston Villa in 4th on 34 as it stands at the moment. They played a game more than the most of us around there. 2 games more than Chelsea, which means they can and possibly will be caught. Manchester City move up into 5th for now on 32 on goal difference over Chelsea, 6th. But Chelsea do have a game in hand over them. And Newcastle are down in 7th, also on 32. Just outside the European places, Tottenham are 8th on 30. And then there's a 7-point gap down to Liverpool in 9th on 23 points. Leeds also on 23. And down in Bournemouth have pulled themselves clear. Had a really poor start to the season, but seem to have gained a little bit of thing. It's all very close down the bottom there, though. Bournemouth, Leicester, Luton Town, Sunderland, Norwich, Southampton and Nottingham Forest, all within about 5 points from one another, so can change very, very quickly down the bottom there. As I said, we are going to play Brentford and Tony Mowbray's new side in our next game. It's going to be the Premier League match day 18. We're going to come back for the halfway stage of the season. A game against Sunderland in the Premier League, match day 19, and then we face Arsenal. As we look, we haven't played Arsenal yet so far. Brentford we already played this season, so that's why I was thinking we're getting 19. We should start to play the teams again, but we haven't played Arsenal yet this season. Not in the league anyway. So we want to continue our decent run. Still haven't lost since the opening day of the season in the Premier League. And it would be very good if we could continue that. It's been a rather good episode in the fact that we've scored 3 goals and not conceded. Can we keep it going? This is the question. You can join me and find out on the next episode. But if you've enjoyed today's episode, leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the series, what you'd like to see me do next. And don't forget, if you want me to continue this series beyond the end of this season, then you need to leave a comment down below and let me know as such. All future episodes of Irons in the Fire and Bottom to the Top, you will be notified when they're released by hitting that notification button. And new episodes of Irons in the Fire released every Monday and Thursday at 4:15 p.m. The best way of keeping up to date with what's happening on this channel is to follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at JustOffside2. I hope to see you for the next episode and see if we can continue this run. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you on Thursday for episode 61. Until then, bye-bye. Have a good week.